Now, I think it's fair to say that we have a very accepting and forgiving furry fandom that we all tend to participate and enjoy. It's completely false, it's not a true statement whatsoever, but it's fair to say. I mean, you're allowed to say those words, no matter how fucking wrong they are, because, yeah, let's be real, you make a mistake in this fandom, and there's a good chance that mistake's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. And, well, in a lot of cases, rightly so, quite frankly. There's a lot of stuff you just can't really come back from. But a lot of people seem to think that they can. And a lot of people seem to think that it doesn't really matter what mistakes they've made or even just bad things they've done that aren't actually mistakes, that they can just run from it, hide from it, or just move on from it. And, sorry, but no. You can't just run from it. You can't just ignore it. You can't just get away from certain things. And the more you try, the more it just sort of feeds into all of that shit. And honestly, sometimes I feel like maybe it should. Now, before we get into this video, I should say that this video is not aimed or directed at any specific particular one person in mind. I'm sure a lot of people are going to tell me that yes, it is. But it's not made with any specific person in mind. There are just a shitload of people that this applies to. But obviously, there's a couple very notable people right now that it seems to apply to. But, I mean, look at the videos I've made in the past. I'm not afraid to call people out by name if that's what I'm going to do, but this time it's not exactly the intention. We'll see by the end of this video whether or not I manage that. But let's get into it. Okay, so these things always start with people just generally fucking up, and there's a shitload of different ways that you can fuck up in a way that needs you to manage and apologize for the situation. Who knows, maybe you upset a large portion of the fandom with the things you said. Hi guys, I just want to make a quick apology. I'm so sorry for saying all of those slurs. I get that that was very offensive and it's not my brand at all, but I will just point out that it was the British people who invented them, so it's kind of cultural appropriation for anyone else to use them, but whatever, that's a whole other thing. Or maybe you went the other way. Maybe you weren't offensive enough to cater to the sort of people that you want to get money from. Hey guys, I just want to apologize for not saying enough slurs. I get that I've got to hit a certain quota each month to keep getting my subscription renewed to the Republican Party, but I have just bought a Tesla, and I can already feel a hard R coming on fast, so we should be good. Hell, let's be real, sometimes it doesn't really matter what you did or didn't say. Some people just can't seem to do anything right. Hey guys, Shut the fuck up, wanker. But whatever the cause may be, it doesn't really matter now. Either way, you did a fucky-wucky, and you have to pick from several different options on how to proceed forward. Spoiler alert, they all fucking suck. See, one easy way to deal with all of this shit is to just not deal with all this shit. Just pretend it's not actually happening. I mean, hell, this might work on a lot of small things, like typical petty little beefs with Gen Z TikTokers. Which, now that I say that, they're actually usually the ones that really go to fucking war on this stuff. But, hell, if people have got all this stuff they don't like about you, all these allegations, all these things that you apparently did, that you definitely did, then why don't you just ignore it and just keep posting as normal? Hell, fuck it. Double down on your normal posting. Completely flood the market with it. That's a surefire winner right there.
The fuck does this guy
I get what you're saying, but have you seen this really cute artwork I got?
Is this guy for real? Nobody cares, you piece of shit.
Yeah, no, I get you. I totally understand what you're talking about. But have you seen my After Dark account? Because it's unlocked. You can go and look.
Is that fucking cub porn?
No, it's not. That's not cub. I swear that's not cub. Okay, maybe it was, and that's a mistake. That was a one-time thing.
Once is bad enough.
Where it's okay.
It really fucking ain't.
I mean, I just want to say, though, there's not a big difference between 16 and 18.
Apart from that big legal one.
Are you a fucking nonce? All right, calm down. So there's a fursuit raffle.
Fuck the
Yeah, if I'm honest, I can't really see that one being a recipe for success. It actually kind of makes it look like you really just don't give a fuck what people think or say about you. And, you know, it stops the story being about what you did or didn't do and more about whether or not you actually care and what you're actually here for. I mean, if you just keep posting all of this egocentric stuff that tries to highlight what an amazing person you are when people are pointing out these flaws, foibles, and legitimate criticisms, then well, I mean, it's tone deaf at the absolute easiest, and it's narcissistically abusive at the absolute fucking worst. And it kind of comes across like you're locking yourself into a little egocentric echo chamber with a bunch of sycophantic yes men who are only really hanging around you because you keep giving out free stuff. I'm not saying that's the case, I'm just saying that's how it fucking looks on the outside. And when you keep doing this over and over again, clearly the image of who you actually are is far more important to you than who you actually are. So, yeah, maybe this isn't it, champ. Maybe we try something else. Okay, so burying your head in the sand was about as effective as stopping a school shooting with the power of prayer, but we can go the other way with it. We can, instead of hiding from it, we can address it head on. We can get in front of this beast and try and stop it and slow it down, control the narrative, and see if we can't do things, you know, by actually acknowledging it. I mean, that would work, right? Okay, it's time for me to come clean and to address the allegations.
Oh, this will be fucking good.
There's a lot of things going on, and I just want to set the record straight.
I smell bullshit.
So, the first was about me allegedly assaulting a baby,
Whoa,
which
Jesus.
is ridiculous. According to a Wikipedia page that I personally edited.
Fucking what?
Babies aren't people, they're property. So assault isn't even the right, like, legal classification for that, okay? So I don't think you can really hold that one against me. The second allegation that I was allegedly conning people out of money, promising them fursuits and not actually delivering. I mean...
Yeah, go on.
And...
The fuck you mean,
fuck
and?
this
Such
guy.
a piece of shit.
I needed money, okay, for a fursuit. You don't know how hard it is to want a fursuit and not have one. So, I think you should just give me a mulligan on that one. Secondly, no, it is completely ridiculous. I did not accidentally leak our war plans to a fucking journalist.
Jesus
okay?
fucking Christ.
They probably hacked their way into the chat. Okay, let's be real. They totally have the power to do that. And we should ignore the fact that maybe our chat shouldn't be able to be hacked by journalists. But shut up. Finally, I just want to put a nail in the coffin of this one. 16 is pretty much the same as 18.
Why would you say it again?
No.
Oh shit, yeah, that actually brought more attention to a lot of the allegations. In fact, not everybody was aware of all of them, and now they're being educated on the other things that you did, and that could be a slight problem. Also, kind of comes off a little bit disingenuous sometimes, doesn't it? I mean, if you're going to make a big video on your channel and keep pushing people towards it, it's almost like you're just engagement baiting a little bit there, isn't it? Like, dealing with it head on is a good excuse for what is essentially you just talking about the situation in a way that gets you a lot of views. Which I'm not saying is what everybody does, I'm just saying, I mean, it's what happens though, right? And sometimes dealing with the situation head on is the best way to actually go about it, but are you actually dealing with the situation head on, or are you just trying to manage it? Because if you're just trying to manage it, people are going to see through that. Addressing these things and being better is one thing, but if you're just talking about the allegations and mostly just shooting them down because they're, you know, you don't believe them, they're not real, whatever. You're not really taking accountability, are you? You're just sidestepping it. And as much as I do agree that people can take responsibility for their actions, it doesn't seem like they often do. This tactic itself is more used to try and put out the fire rather than deal with the cause of it. Okay, that one didn't quite fucking work either, so maybe we need to try something else. But here's an interesting thought. Have you considered that you are actually the victim here? Not the people that you victimized, not the people that you made into victims, but you. You are the one who's actually being hurt the most by your own actions. You know, BoJack style. Maybe that's the way you need to go with this. Maybe instead of trying to get people to understand that you made a mistake, maybe you just play the sympathy card. I mean, people always love a victim, right? Guys, I think it's time we all just slow down and take a break. I'm finding this all far too much, okay? I can't keep doing this. The amount of energy it takes into calling people slurs, into shooting them down and sending my followers after them when they try to hold me accountable, it's taking too much of a toll on me, okay? I've had an incredibly traumatic life. When I was born, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't speak, okay? I couldn't even hold my head up. I didn't get those skills until I was at least 1 year old, okay? I would shit myself until I learned how to use a toilet. Do you know how traumatic that is for a person? Like, let's be honest here. If that doesn't give me carte blanche to call people slurs, I don't know what the fuck does. Also, whilst we're talking about it, so this thing about 16-year-olds. Okay, that does make you come off like a whiny little bitch, doesn't it? And it very much has the energy of, oh my god, my hand hurts so much. Even though I punched you in the teeth and broke your jaw, it's my hand that's hurting the most. It very much has the wrong energy on it. But I mean, it's an easy tactic to make, especially when you've got a fan base of people that are determined to like you no matter how shitty you might turn out to be. You can send your fans off for that. Play the mental health card. Everyone's doing that these days, right? Whether you've got legitimate struggles with anxiety and depression or not, as soon as you say that, suddenly you can change the narrative. And I'm not saying that everybody does do that, but I'm saying there are people that fucking do. And that whether they have these conditions or not, it's a very easy way to sidestep the guilt and the accountability when you can just say, oh, but actually, I'm big sad. I know I did some bad stuff consistently. I know that I kept doing these things even though I knew they were wrong. and that they're no longer mistakes. It's actually a pattern of behavior. But actually, I'm dealing with a lot of stress right now, and therefore I get carte blanche to do and say what I want, and no one's allowed to be mean to me, okay? I'm not allowed to have consequences. I mean, it might work, it won't ever fucking work, but it doesn't stop these assholes from trying it now, does it? I mean, screw it, if all else has failed, then why don't you just double down? They want you to be the villain, be the fucking villain. They think that what you said was bad, just wait until what you say next time comes out. Fuck it. Just make it all seem like it's just part of a joke. Make it all seem like you are actually controlling the situation. At the end of the day, you can't seem to do anything right, so just do everything wrong. That'll work, right? Okay, so I see that you're a little bit annoyed at this whole involuntary manslaughter thing. I just want to clear the air on that. There was nothing involuntary about it, okay? I tried to kill the cunt, and I'll do it again. This is where people tend to make even bigger mistakes because they get into this revenge cycle where they're not happy with how people are receiving them making mistakes because, yeah, some people aren't forgiving and some people just aren't really here to give you that time or space, and that's up to them. Everybody's got their tolerances on it. But instead of sticking with your, moral high ground and your ethics and being like, no, I made a mistake and I'm going to own up to that and I'm going to do better, regardless of how other people receive that, I'm going to do it for me. You just end up reverting back like, well, fuck you then. If nothing's good enough, then fuck you. And eventually it just goes nuclear and blows up, which you apparently didn't want, but then you also seem to do everything possible to get to that stage. So maybe a little bit of you actually did want that, huh? And finally, you could just stop. You could just actually stop trying to manage the situation. I think, honestly, it boils down to a couple of different points here, and that's that trying to manage a situation like you're a PR company is always going to fucking fail because furries hate insincerity. And when we can smell it on someone, then it doesn't really matter anymore what you're saying. We know it's fake, and we're not here for that, and we know that it's stage managed, especially when someone is pushing a lot of subscription sites, a lot of things that earn them money, get them clout and power and followers, and all of that jazz. It doesn't really smack of, I'm trying to be the best version of myself. It smacks more of, I'm trying to save my business. And we don't like that sort of shit. We really fucking don't. As soon as you get this assumption sort of put on you, it's incredibly hard to get out of, whether it's fair or not. And it's easy for us to sort of have this this little game plan when it comes to these assholes when they specifically make these mistakes, but then keep doing these things. Pretty soon they're not mistakes anymore, they're patterns. And, I can apologize for punching someone in the face once, and that's a legitimate mistake. But if I keep punching someone in the face over and over again and keep apologizing, does that apology mean anything? Does it seem sincere? Does it even fucking matter? They're still getting punched. And here's the other part, is that you can't run from this sort of shit. Once you get this assumption that you are a bit of a shady person that is here for nefarious actions and deeds and intents, it's very hard for you to break that, which I mentioned in a video, which I've talked about a lot. And when you are not doing anything to help your case with that, you're actually leaning more into it, then a lot of this stuff is just kind of deserved, I guess. I mean, I get that some people have a very hard perception to fight off, but when you kind of play into it, then maybe it's not a perception. Maybe it is the fucking truth. And when you keep doing things that are vaguely shitty and then ramping them up to actually shitty, and a lot of people are calling you out for it, and all that you do in response is play victim, bury your head in the sand, love bomb, all of this shit, you can't really be surprised when none of it fucking works. And maybe it's time to stop trying to work the situation, stop managing it, stop treating it as if it's a fucking PR crisis, and start treating it like you're a person who wants to not be this kind of person, so do better, okay? You can't run from this. When people have this, they're gonna dog your ass until you're gone, okay? This version of you is what they hate. There's other versions of you that you can choose to be. Be those, or just get used to this shit, okay? Because as long as they keep seeing this, they're gonna be coming for it. And if you don't want that to happen, don't be that. It seems pretty fucking easy, right? Am I alone here? Jesus. Well, there you have it. There's my 2 cents on whether or not you can, stage manage your way out of a PR crisis. I mean, at the end of the day, these are people in this fandom, and people have tolerances, and they don't tolerate a lot of bad shit. And more importantly, the more you try and manage a situation like this, the worse it typically becomes, because, I mean, it just shows that you're not really being genuine. And honestly, that's one of the bigger crimes in this fandom, is a lack of genuineness. ingenuity, whatever the fuck. As soon as we can figure out you're faking it and everything's just stage managed and like a PR company is running this shit, you're done. You're done. And it's weird how so many people seem to get to a certain level of following and yet still don't seem to know how to run this shit. It's kind of funny to me, actually. But here we fucking are, I guess. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing all your comments telling me who exactly I was talking about down there. It's pretty fucking obvious, I guess. I mean, as I said, it wasn't intentional, but I mean, damn, if I'm looking for fucking, if I'm looking for examples of who's doing this shit, pretty easy to find one. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did and you would, like to help support me and keep making these videos and shit, then there's ways you can do that. Look, we got the work permit. We're back, bitches. Which means every episode ends with a shameless plug. So if you'd like to be a patron and have some input in, what I say, what I do, and most importantly, give me money, there's a way to do that. If you like feet, guess what? We got you covered for that, bitch. Because, yeah, I am a shameless bitch who has a fansly and an OnlyFans. So if you want your feet with a fursuit or without, we got you covered either way. There's plenty of things you can go and see there. Fuck it, I'm also open for custom orders, okay? I can peel a banana with my toes. And I've done that for money twice. And I'll do it a third time, okay? If it pays the bills, then we're fucking happy to do it, as long as it's not sexual. I got limits, I got terms and conditions, but whatever. But yes, thank you for watching. Now that all of that is done, now that we're back to making a very serious point and then ending it with, please go pay for feet pics, I guess the video is done. So thanks for watching, and